Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to get started on an A1708 MacBook that's not turning on. If you'd like to learn how to follow along with me on these videos, we have a couple of resources that might make life just a little bit easier for you. And I welcome you to check out these resources so that you could share in the fun of making boards work again. The first one of those resources can be found down below. It is a beginner's guide to logic board repair that just goes over some basic fundamentals of electronics and electronics repair. This guide is free to anybody who wishes to view it. It's a very, very, very oversimplified and basic overview that goes over a lot of different things, like what these things are, transistors, all sorts of voltage dividers, buck converters, all sorts of different stuff to make life easy for you. The second resource that we have is Repair.wiki. Repair.wiki is a place you can go to learn how to do a lot of bit more difficult repairs. So whether it's a laptop or a phone, somebody even added televisions and monitors on here, you can find all different types of things. So for MacBooks, you'll be able to follow along by finding the number of your machine, and then you can see guides like this, where on the left, there is the problem, and on the right, there is the solution. I contribute to this, along with many other people who want people to be able to do these types of repairs. The next resource that you have is this YouTube channel, where you'll be able to find all sorts of information. In our playlist and motherboard repair playlists, over 600 plus videos detailing how to do what we do. And the fourth is a paid course. If you go to rossmanngroup.com, you'll find a scheduler for a paid logic board repair course where you can work with people here, you can bring a bunch of your boards, and we go over it all with you. And because my website sucks so much, I can't even find my own damn course. And you go over here, and you have a little scheduler and my whole sales pitch to this paid course. But we have many freely available resources as well, and lower cost ones, such as being able to read through the forum that you find at boards.rossmanngroup.com. On boards.rossmanngroup.com, you'll find other people post their problems, and Volley will help by posting solutions. He is a paid contributor to the forum. It is part of his job to answer people's questions to a high standard of quality, and for the low price of $29 a month, you too can ask Volley a question. Now, why is it $29 a month when other people have it available for free? Because I pay Volley to answer people's questions. I know. I value his time. I'm evil. All right. So today, we're going to take a look at this MacBook. This here is an A1708. And we're going to fix this A1708 without reading the Twitch chat. Twitch chat is probably just going to be cancer anyway. I bet if I look at the Twitch chat, it'll just be people looking and asking if I read the Twitch chat. So definitely no reason to bother looking over at that. So I'm going to grab my T3 and a T5 screwdriver. Roman says, thank you for running an awesome shop. My 2016 MacBook Pro quit working, and I sent it out to you. It turned out the authorized repair shop left something unscrewed, and when they replaced the screen and battery under recall, you guys didn't charge me anything. Well, I'm glad that you were one of the people that had a good experience. Thank you very much. If you could tell me who you dealt with so that I can convey your kind words to them, I most certainly will. Oh yeah, I got a new person that's helping me with thumbnails. Much credit to him, because they definitely ain't mine. What happened to the man with the stick? That's a question for the police. That is a question for the New York Police Department. I have no effing clue. We're going to take this board out of the case, and we're going to try and fix it. This is my meditation. I went to a martial arts instructor for about 1.5 years, and there was this form that you had to do. It was before you started, and everything that we did was based on these 3 forms. One of the first ones was, it was supposed to be a form of meditation. It was supposed to be a way to relax, and it never was for me. Thank you very much, Mr. Voodoo Child. I highly appreciate that. Yeah, I never really got relaxation from it. It's possible that I was doing it wrong. It's very possible I was doing it wrong. I'm not a person who relaxes almost ever. But I do get a genuine sense of relaxation out of doing MacBook repair. Or at least more motherboard repair. This is kind of like my This is my meditation. Interesting. My other cameras all seem to have had something changed on them. One moment. And I gotta change this back to where it was. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna change my main camera back to where it was. One moment. Sorry, this will make it easier to change my color space. Okay. There we go. Put a clap in for the video editing. Okay. Yeah, it's funny how senators can forget bills right after they wrote them. Again, I don't mind if you're ideologically opposed to it. Like, fine, be ideologically opposed to something. You know, adults have disagreements. But you're going to pretend that you don't know what was written in your own damn bill? That's BS. Because I am, Adam P. Because I am. Because I am. Because I am. Let's see. All right. It does, Sieg. It does. I despise video editing. I absolutely despise video editing. And anytime I have to edit, I try to make it as minimal as possible. So I do a clap so that I can see it. 99% of the content I produce, I don't edit. And when I do have to do video editing, what I do is I do a clap so that I don't have to listen to myself again. So if I do a 20-minute video, I'm not listening to the 20-minute video to make my edits. Fuck that. I just go over to the spots where I could see a spike in the audio on the screen. That's where I know I did my clap, and then I produce and I upload. I really put very minimal effort into it. Do you just repair MacBooks? Yes. Do you think it makes your work easier? It's not about making the work easier so much as making running the business easier. People expect instant turnaround on everything. And the only way that I can give you an estimate on the spot, the only way I can tell you exactly what's wrong with your device on the spot is if I have every single part for it. If I have to order things, then I'm not going to be able to give you an instant estimate, and I won't be able to give you an almost instant repair. It'll take a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And people are very, very much so attached to the Amazon primification of the world and the economy. Everybody wants everything in 2 days or less. And if I decide to work on everything, when somebody says, what's the price? I don't know. What's wrong with it? I don't know. I'll figure it out in a week once I order everything. Like that's a bad sales pitch. People are not going to like that very much. So I stick to working on one thing because it allows me to have a sales pitch that I will fix it in X amount of time. I can give you an idea of the price while you wait. You know, everything else. It's necessary for me. You know, the few times I've ventured into fixing other things, I wound up getting 1 stars because, like, it's been 3 days and they can't even tell me if it's the screen or the cable. It's like, yeah, because I had to order the screen and the cable, you fuck. But so I just kind of dealt with that level of aggravation by just not dealing with it anymore, by just kind of cutting it all out. Let people specialize and repair the things they want to specialize in and repair. Okay, so this is one where I don't really even have to plug it in to get an idea of what's going on with it. Yeah, you could probably see that from over there before I even zoom. But when I zoom, well, look at that. Do I need to be an electrical engineer, or do you learn it yourself? No, I'm not an engineer. I'm not an engineer at all. Wolf Girl is here. Look at that. Let's get that under the microscope. Once we get it under the microscope, you'll really get to see what's going on. Oh, jeez. That looks horrible. That is uniquely horrible. Oh, man. It's gross. Can someone tell him in Discord? I'm not reading Discord. Fuck off with the Discord. I'm not reading Discord. I'm reading a chat window. I don't use Discord much. Discord is a dumpster fire. Don't you think that in a way it's good that Apple is popular, so you have less replacement variations? No, because if other companies that made liquid-resistant machines were popular, then nobody would be sending me stuff like this, and the world would be a better place. Okay. So this is... I'm not even plugging this in, because I know exactly what the problem is with this board. I don't even need to look at it. Our CD3215 charge port controllers, USB-C port controller, I should say, is bad. Stop asking if this is live. Just read what it says. Like, it's right under the video. Seriously. It's like 3 people that asked that already. Just like, look right under the video. If it says live, it's live. If it says premiere, it is a premiere. And if it doesn't say anything, it's a video. Just... Okay. You're not on the road anymore. Yes, I am. I'm doing this from my car. Eric is driving right now. The questions get dumber and dumber. Any opinions on framework laptops? Yes. Look at this resistor. Gross. What do you think of DJI? They make mediocre but decent cameras. Good enough action cam. They're better than GoPro, but that's not really saying much. Resolvolution, that doesn't sound like an idea. Would you support the idea of a computer that would help people who don't have basic technology? Well, if they don't have basic technology and you gave them a computer, you gave them technology. So there's nothing special about the computer that you gave them. It doesn't make sense. I don't get what you're talking about. Alright. It's going to suck up all that lead-free junk. No thoughts on Windows 11. Don't care. I need a sales pitch as to why I should get a new version of Windows. Microsoft hasn't presented me with a good enough sales pitch. Alright. These 2 pads under here look like they've seen better days. Yeah, we may have some missing pads. Or pads that need rehabilitation. You see what I'm talking about right over here? In the bottom right corner. This is not going to be good. Like there. There used to be a pad there. It's better than 10. Yeah, but that's not a sales pitch. You have to explain to me why I should care about Windows 10. better is... That doesn't do it for me. You gotta... Why is it better? Okay. Alright, so we have a pad that's completely corroded away in the bottom right. And we haven't even used any wick yet. And this board doesn't have underfill, so it's not something that we ripped off. That's just completely corroded. So the first thing we gotta do is figure out if the part that's corroded matters. Does that pad go to anything? Schematic and board view over here. Go down there. This pad is semi-corroded. This one's completely corroded. And the one that's completely corroded is, obviously going to be the one that's completely corroded because this one is PPDCN G3 hot. The PPDCN G3 hot rail, DCN, that's the power coming from the charger. That's the 20 volts coming from the charger. So it makes sense. It's better because you can crank it all the way to Windows 11. Okay, that's funny, JP. I give you that. That is funny. So the reason that this is going to be the first thing to corrode is it's the highest voltage inside the device. So we have to see if we can revive that. I don't think we will be able to. Also, we have one up and to the left that is also gone. That is no good. This message is brought to you by Copaz. Boo. Now this is something where you just look at it and you breathe in and you breathe out. And you breathe in and you breathe out. Now see how we have a trail over here? This little outline, and it's leading over to my pad? We're going to put a jumper there. Ripped pad, no problem. Same over here. Okay, now we're going to wick, and I will run jumpers. After I run jumpers, I will be ready to solder on 2 new CD3215 chips. Neither, Wolf Girl. None of the above. Be gentle with your wicking. Not really much at all, YouTube Airways. It's not designed for it. Now, if I touch the sides of any of these resistors or capacitors with the wick, it will remove solder from those solder joints. I need to make a mental note to myself to touch those up to ensure that they have the solder that was on them prior to performing this work. Can't just leave that stuff half soldered. That would be sloppy. My son asked where his friends went when he got back home. He wanted to play more. Next time. Next time. What does Lewis think of framework? I don't know. What would happen if you Googled Lewis Rossmann framework? Would a 1 hour teardown video go up? I doubt it. I doubt it. That prick is just in right to repair because it gets him in the news. I do not trust this resistor over here. You ever got an idea for what the problem is with the computer by looking at the customer? The questions are getting dumber. How frequently do A1474 NAND chips fail? My iPad can't even turn... more often than people would think. It happens. But usually I think it's file system corruption more than that. Why would I solder an SMC without the BIOS program on the main board? I mean, if you solder an empty SMC on the board, it would be like it would be the same as it would be if you just didn't have an SMC on the board. That should be self-explanatory. You know the answer to that one. I don't know if the NAND chips are replaceable. I just know it's not economically viable to do, so I don't bother with it. Whether something is possible, I don't really care about. Whether it's economically viable is something I care about. Almost anything is possible. Now for the fun part, running jumpers. What did it say about Windows 11? Oh, crap. I have to get this... Damn. Do not upgrade to Windows 11 yet. There's a bug, AMD bug for CPUs over 65 TDP, which your TR4 fails into. Fuck that. Yeah, no Windows 11 for me. There's no benefit. There's no sales pitch. There's nothing compelling to get me to change over to a new Windows. My computer works. Everything is set up, doing everything it needs to do. I sincerely doubt Microsoft has managed to innovate something amazingly new for the Windows 11, so I don't really care about it. These questions are work. These questions are not much fun. The stream questions used to be fun. Now they feel like work. We're gonna get a David Zamola stream. I don't know what the hell that is. Yeah, the questions today are not the quality of what the questions used to be. When are you tying the knot? I don't tie this wire in a knot. I solder it on the board, and then after soldering it on the board, I'm going to make a loop, but not a knot. I don't know if a knot shape would be more durable, but I usually try to make a loop instead. When will we pop the question to Erica? I don't really believe in modern day marriage, so probably never. Too much downside, not enough upside. Oh, thank you. I tell every woman that I date on the first date that I have no plans of marrying you. I don't want to be one of those guys that's like an asshole and doesn't tell you. Like, I get it all out in the first date. Here's how I grew up. Here are my political beliefs. Here are the political beliefs that may be controversial. You know, here's my thoughts on this, that, the other. Here's my religious beliefs. Like, I really kind of get it all out of the way on the first date. I discuss all the shit that you're not supposed to talk about in the first date. But, yeah, I'm pretty clear about that. I really don't. If you want to get married, more power to you. I just look at it and it's like, here are the pluses, here are the minuses, and I'm just looking at it and it's like, I mean, listen, I don't see it. I don't see it. If you see it, I wish you the happiest of lives. Best of luck. I don't see it. Works for you? I really am not going to tell you how to live your life one way or the other. It's not my business. I don't care. I'm not going to judge. I enjoyed your stream with Larry Sharp. Thank you. LOL Grace First State material. Listen, like, why waste your time? Like, seriously, why waste your time? Everybody on a first date or a job interview, they try to act like someone they're not to impress someone that they're going to be in a long-term relationship with, and they're not even willing to be honest. Like, why? Why waste your time like that? It's just such a disservice to you and everybody else. I'm not going on 3 or 5 dates to figure out that someone believes in something that's just makes us completely fundamentally incompatible or unable to spend any time together without being at each other's throats. Like, screw that. Let them know everything. Be honest. Get out there. Give them a pamphlet about yourself. I don't have a pamphlet. Can you reiterate what you're doing? Rewind. I'm fixing a motherboard. If I lived in New York, I'd vote for Sharp for governor, as Cuomo. Most of the candidates seem like schmucks, especially Cuomo. I don't disagree with you there. Hard to argue with you. Now I'm using the hot air because I want that to loop around into where it will naturally be in place. And then I'm going to green it in there. Beautiful. That took far too long, but I don't have fine motor skills or control much anymore. Such is a reality of life. However, I still find this to be my meditation, so I still do it from time to time. But as a profession, I leave this to my employees. But I still get some enjoyment out of my work. So I'll stop by every now and then to get something in. And yep, those are 2 happy little jumper wires over there. Yeah, I'm not mad at those jumper wires one bit. Now, Paul is always able to make them into a perfect circle. No pun with Maynard James Keenan there. How often should I clean and apply thermal paste? I have no idea. I don't think I ever honestly do that. I probably do it once and that's it. I'm a once in 10 years kind of guy when it comes to something like that. Nice try, Fiber. Damn, that fiber actually got under there. And it won't squeeze. Squeeze off, fiber. So... next up, this pad is still there, but that's kind of a sad and pathetic little pad, if you even call it a pad. We can do better. We'll add a little wire right over there. Do you know I can get my data back from a formatted SD card? There are some data recovery programs out that you can try, like RStudio or UFS Explorer, stuff like that. You just have to remember the partition type that was there before. Ask it to do a search, see what it finds. Lewis, you're going to regret it. Huh? Do we have any Twitch mods here today? I don't feel like logging in at Twitch. I use the restream for my chat. Every now and then, Twitch can get a little bit cancerous. What happened to this device was water. Yeah, it looks like there's some... Looks like it had a lot of water in it. Okay, here we go. Bob. Ba-boom. Circuit copper traces. No, that's a waste. Look at the size of what I'm working on. Jumper wire. Buying a trace repair kit for what I'm doing here is just insane. I wanted to make this go in a circle, but I fucked it up. I was trying to flip it. There we go. Fuckity fuckity fuck. I don't know, EM. I didn't do it. I'm looking in a microscope, so I can't really tell. While looking in a microscope, I can't really scroll through chat. This wire still could use a little bit more stripping, the one on the bottom left. Do people bring in vintage electronics or retro game consoles to the store? No, I don't got the time for that. I don't have the parts for it or the time for it. That stuff works as a passion project. If you have a passion project, like, by all means, mess with your passion project. Try to get it to work. But in terms of, like, has to be in and out the door and make X amount of dollars inside X amount of... Fuck! Why was it? I can't really figure out a way to make that stuff work. Son of a whore. I just knocked my damn jumper off and I can't get it back on the board. What? Okay, new rule. No more answering questions. Until this is done. F every question. F every chat. That includes all of you until this is done. Sorry, this is just way too fucking aggravating for me to be reading. Alright. Once the board works. That's way too much green stuff. However, all the stuff on the right I don't really particularly need to care about because it's not actually going to anything. There we go. Alright, now don't look at the screen. This is a UV curing light, so if you look at the screen, this can damage your eyes. You don't want to look at a UV light, it could damage your eyes. So if you're looking at the screen right now, there's a good chance that you've already damaged your eyes. I have questions. I have a question. The question's your rule about answering questions. You go away. No questions. It's also very aggravating and painful to watch. It's probably as painful to... It's definitely more painful to do than painful to watch. It probably is painful to see that giant glob of green shit that I got in the corner over there. No food for Mia tonight. Tomorrow is her sterilization. I hope Mia ends up being a lovely kitty. You're not allowed to ask a single question, Jordan. We no longer answer questions here at Rossmann Repair. I'm not answering a thing. Because the moment that I look at my chat and answer a question, all these freaking wires are going to jump out of the machine. And I can't have that. So I'm going to grab some CD3215s. Borhan's web browser is pink.
What?
His web browser is pink.
Oh, yeah.
No judgment. What happened to Dan as the shipping person?
She got sick of it, and then another guy came, and then he decided to be a cop. And now
Why would he choose to be a cop in New York City now, of all the careers to go into?
he did the same thing.
He didn't strike me as a masochist, even though he did work here.
I think it's more of like... Actually, I can't tell you why. To be real with you.
I figured.
But it's kind of the stupidest thing to do in New York City.
God bless him. Somebody obviously is breaking the no questions rule during this stream. Anybody breaking the no questions rule will be immediately banned. There will be no questions. I demand full enforcement starting immediately. Because questions make my wires fly away. I dare you. Ask a question. Make my day. I like to scratch the top of the BGA chip. And if scratching the top of the chip does not move more than the diameter of a single pad, that means that I've placed it in the right position. That's how I know that the balls are aligned, and that's how I know that I'm safe to go ahead and solder it. And don't you dare ask a question. I can tell that some of you in chat, you want to ask a question. You're kind of acting like this is a live stream or something. But we're not having any of that right now. Not having any of it. None of it! You don't get to ask your mama a question. You don't get to ask your papa a question. Your priest, your therapist, your financial advisor, your psychiatrist. Everybody stay quiet and sit still until these two chips are on the damn board. Everyone stay quiet. Sit still. Don't move. Damn it. I told you guys to stop moving. Everybody in the chat, sit still right now. Sit still. Don't you get up. Don't you move. I don't care about your anxiety, SKXJP. I told you to stay still. Now sit down and don't say a word. Until this board takes 20 volts. I mean, accepts 20 volts from its USB-C charger. Okay. Let the board cool off a little. The backlight circuit looks a little corroded, but I'm not going to mess with the backlight circuit until I know that I have fixed the charging circuit. Also, the rule is still in session. No questions. No speaking, actually. Silence. Not just no moving and no breathing, but no speaking either. You know what? I can always make the backlight circuit ideal later. I want to see if I'm getting 20 volts. Let's see if I'm getting 20 volts. The bottom of this chip is a jumper city. Let's see what I got. What do you guys think? Five volts, 21 amp. Yeah! 20 volts, baby! 20 volts! But it's dead. 65 milliamps. You son of a whore. Come on. Give me 20 volts, 500 milliamps. You piece of shit. Alright, well, we solved one problem. We got another one up next. Okay, the other port, we're getting 200 milliamps. 275 milliamps is something, but that still does not really fix my problem. 500 milliamps would mean that it's turning on. Alright. I'm going to move the goalpost here. Nobody gets to say anything until we fix the board. Everybody be quiet. I need my concentration. Everybody? Okay. PP bus G3 hot is 13 volts. No short on the PP bus. Okay, both USB-C ports are working identically. 270 milliamps. Well, shit. Oh, come on. Okay, what else do we have that was corroded on this board? Let's see. We had this. That's a diode for DC in. I don't give a shit about that. Up here, this looks like a cap for backlight. Oh, this PP3V3. Okay, PP3V3S4. Huh, okay. I thought that was all backlight up there. Some of it is not. Is that shorted to ground? Are you shorted to ground, my friend? Oh, I bet you are. I bet you are. No, you're not, you fucking piece of shit. Okay, so you're not it. I was hoping it was you. You're not shorted. This nasty looking shit over here is surprisingly not shorted. As gross as that looks, that is not. But then again, a backlight short wouldn't cause it to not turn on properly because it wouldn't try to turn the light on the screen unless there was a screen connected and was communicating with it actively. And the only corrosion we had is over there. One moment, sir. Okay. By the way, I'm kidding. You don't have to time out people that ask questions. I'm just being an asshole. Okay. Second. I'm gonna take it.
I think that's might be faster than me uploading and then re-downloading. What's up? What are you looking for? What can I do?
Is Paul here?
What can I help you with?
Is Paul here?
Paul should be in the front, I think.
Oh, boy.
Or in the back.
Hey, Paul, how are you? Why are you walking away? Why are you hiding behind a shelf? Why are you crawling up to the shelf? Paul, I have a simple board for you. He's going to put his rings on it.
He's not wearing them. It's too cold out. They act as sinks on his fingers.
Help.
What happened?
275 milliamps. Static. A1708. What mean? PP bus is 13 volts. The only and there was so much corrosion under the CD3215 that 3 pads were burned away. So I ran my jumpers. It goes to 20 volts now. 275 milliamps. The only other corrosion is on a PP3V3S4 cap that has 2 kilo ohms to ground and backlight, which is not shorted, but shouldn't even matter if it's shorted, Because even if backlight's shorted, it's not going to turn the screen on until the computer turns on. What does 275 milliamps static mean at 20 volts?
Never seen that. Try thermal cam. You might have a bad MOSFET over here or something. Try thermal cam.
Where's
I got the. Yeah, I got your.
Does it work on here?
Yeah.
Does thermal cam work on this computer?
Yeah.
Yay. How's your turtle?
They're happy. The girls are fighting again. I think it's egg laying season.
Are you ever going to let the boy turtle meet the girl turtle?
No.
Why not?
He almost got his penis bit off last time.
That's his idea of a good time, I thought.
Yeah, I guess.
He's a turtle. Paul has the cutest little turtle. What's this?
I don't know if you have a power supply.
That's the power, I believe. Hopefully it's the right one. 5 volts, 12 volts, it's all the same thing to the camera.
That's 12 volts. So I think I installed the software on your profile, didn't I?
Hopefully, one way to find out. What's the name of the software?
PCB.
Where do you...
That's it.
PCB.
PCB.
Okay. Run. PCB. Run. The data driver network connection it links to is unavailable. What? You piece of... See.
Root directory PCB. Question.
PCB Huygenby. Alright. PCB client. I want a different thermal camera. Okay. Okay, the thermal Pepe is on the screen. We have the thermal Pepe. Where's thermal?
Not enough wire.
Almost. Good enough. I have to fix the side of that PC too. I have to make that whole setup not shit.
Just caught.
Okay, where's display cam? Office. Display capture. Can I do display capture? Do I have anything on here people can't see?
It's only going to capture one monitor, right?
Okay, cool. So this is the thermal Pepe, and it's supposed to show you what's hot on the board. So when I plug it in, and let's see. Okay, it's 20 volts, 250 milliamps. So 250 milliamps is enough that something should be warm. Now where's the Pepe button? Service? There used to be a button that makes you see it.
Seek.
Okay, so the hottest part of, and this is
Did it turn off?
34, 33, 36. Okay, it's really strange that something above the CD3215 is hotter than it.
Flip it over.
Makes me wonder if the other side of the board has something going on.
Oh, look at that.
39 in this.
Camera chip? Turn off
42.
Turn off the thing. You're not aligned, first off. Let's align the images.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
Oh, there you go. That's your problem. The camera chip?
43 Celsius. That's considerably above everything else. Now, what relationship does the camera chip have to my USB-C port controller? Because the 3 pads that were corroded were... Yeah, the 3 pads that I had that were corroded... One sec. Added that while I'm moving. Were this... it was like UPC gate, PPDCN, PP5ES4... Like UPC gate. That has nothing to do with the camera. Do you need the camera chip in order to turn the board on?
No, I don't think so. No.
What's this thing next to it? What are you?
Camera
Oh, that's the camera memory.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're both underfilled. It's a real pain in the ass.
Wait, there's a ball over there. Oh, I didn't even notice that. That was...
You can overheat that chip by doing a lot of work on the other side of it.
Wait, that's just a pube. I thought that was a... That is a pube. Yeah, I thought this was solder. That's just dirt. Nasty dirt.
What? No. No.
You can't escape. Pretty please. I'm gonna destroy it.
Ow.
Did you just zap yourself?
Yes, I did.
That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something.
Microphone? Where's microphone? There's microphone.
These comments are fucked up.
Where? What happened? Somebody get Abraham Lincoln. Underfill chips are the fucking worst. So it doesn't look like it was overheated from underneath. A lot of times when you're working on this side over here, directly on the other side of this is 2 underfill chips for the camera. The one under here is not underfilled, so you don't have to worry about that. But these 2 on this side, this is the camera control chip, this is camera RAM. And they could get overheated, and when you overheat balls under underfill, they tend to slide into each other and make little pathways and connect to each other. So you can short it out by just working on it a lot there. But it doesn't look like that happened because the solder would have blebbed up over here, especially these ones that are squeezed in underfill. There would be solder balls all popping out of that, but it's not doing that. So this thing just died of some kind of natural causes. So now we have to work with underfilled chip to try to get it off. First thing to do is to give it some heat, and we'll scrape away at some of the underfill around it, make like a line around it so it doesn't pull up the other components with it when it comes off. I need a device of gravity. A device of much gravity. I guess the NVIDIA mug will do. So I don't want to use anything really sharp, so I'm using like the back of a blade here. I'm not on screen, am I? Nope, not on screen. So I got the heat on. I'm far away from it. I'm not heating to melt solder. I don't want to see any solder melting yet. But I'm heating up the underfill, and we're just going to chip it away and make a line in it here.
You want more air? I lowered my air earlier.
No, that's good for underfill. This is one of the few times I would actually change the temperature or air on my station to lower it a little bit so I could pick away at underfill without melting solder. Most of the time you just do it by the distance that you're at to what you're working on. So this is going to make sure that we don't pull up any of these other things when the chip comes off. That's why I'm doing it over here, and then I'll cut a line around the rest of the way, and that'll just make sure that the chip actually comes off the board easily. A little bit easier than what it would be. I got it hot enough, and I'll cut a line on this side. It's usually very hard substance, but once you heat it up, it scrapes away. You got to be real careful when you're scraping on this, because you can easily scrape into the board and cut one of these traces that's around under here. Like a lot of these capacitors here have traces that go right from this pad underneath the chip. So you don't want to cut any of them while you're working on this. It's best not to make more work for yourself while you work. Okay. So now we'll put a little bit of flux around it. Hopefully some flux gets underneath there. When it starts to come up, some flux will get underneath there. Put some flux around it, and we're going to heat it back up. I'm going to turn up the air. Max is 120. I'm going to have it on 110. We got max temperature 500. And I need tweezers. Where are tweezers? Ineasies? I don't want these fine Ineasies. I guess I could use the Ineasies. Okay, I'm just going to start heating. Now I have another underfill chip that I don't want to touch, so this is really a pain in the ass. So I'm going to get a point right underneath there. I get some weight on the board too, because you have to put a little bit more pressure on things than you're used to. So you need more weight on the board. I'm just going to keep working away, nice and light at the corner here. And I got my tweezer underneath the chip. So now we're just going to heat the chip as if we're going to solder it. Some solder balls coming out. Once I see solder melting in the area, it should be safe to pull up on the chip a little bit. This chip is giving me a real hard time, huh? Okay, I got solder blebbing over here. I don't know if you can see that. That's what happens when you overheat on underfill. You have these little solder balls that pop up like that. But we are overheating, of course, because we're removing the chip. So I'm going to get a little bit of leverage on here instead of trying to pull. There you go. Up and off. Looks like we pulled one pad with it. It's probably an unconnected, because there's no dot underneath it. There's no via underneath it, so that was an unconnected pad that just came unglued from the board when we pulled it up. Now, cleaning this is a real pain in the ass. Cleaning this, getting it ready for another chip. You have to get all of this underfill out of here, and then get all the solder out of here, and that's where you usually pull pads and destroy things when working on these. I have a kind of junky micro soldering tip. That's another unconnected pad, came right off. I have a junky micro soldering tip that I use for this, that it doesn't really hold solder anymore, it needs to be replated, but it's perfect for a nice heat on this. Put a bunch of solder in here, and it cuts right through this stuff and pulls it right off nice and easy, because it's a hot knife, hot tip. But let's plug this in and see what happens now. Still hot? It's still hot. Let's do some rapid cooling. Rapid cooling! I used to deal with even worse underfill than this in the Marine Corps. Some of our radio sets, the Angra 39A, holy shit. That thing it wasn't just underfilled, it was overfilled. The entire board was covered in a clear epoxy. So you had anything you needed to work on, you had to chip away the clear epoxy and then you could work on it. Those things were just nuts anyway. So old, but reliable. Let's see what happens. Yeah, 5 volts, 100 milliamps. And it looks like we're stuck at 5 volts, 100 milliamps now. 5 volts, 100 milliamps. Yay. Let's see if I shorted anything. I didn't really clean it up, so there might be some balls shorted under here. Well, it was a nice clean pull. Nothing shorted. It doesn't look like I overheated the next chip. This looks like it has a chip taken out of it. The corner of this. Is that corrosion? No, I think it's just a weird reflection. How's all this look? Oh god, this board looks disgusting. What did I get roped into here? Let's see, is everything cold? Everything's cold. This should turn on. Five volts, 100 milliamps. Do I have PP bus? No, wait. This is the older board. I don't get PP bus until I have 20 volts. The new boards will give you PP bus. Let's see, 3v3. I have 3v3. 100 milliamps at 5 volts. So something else has got to be getting hot on here. Let's let it cool for a little bit, and we'll bring back out the thermal cam. Let's see, thermal cam still open? Thermal cam is still open. It's exactly what we call our thermal cam, is the please bro. Please bro, give me answer. You give me 100% solution. Now. Board is really nice and cold. I don't know where Lewis has the display capture, so I don't know how to capture this. Oh, look, I got something hot right there. Where is that? That is this. Okay. CD3215. Same with that. Okay, this CD3215. This side, CD3215, is hot. So let's get that one off the board. Replace it. I really hope this isn't the one that Lewis ran the jumpers under, because that would suck verily. It doesn't look like it is. Microscope. Okay, so this is the guy we're going after. Let's get him off the board. Who's been here from the beginning? Did Lewis take both? He did take both chips off. He replaced both. It was a clean install. It was good on there, but that chip is bad. When wicking, you want to barely touch the wick. You don't want any pressure on it at all. I just moved a resistor. Gonna have to move that back before I start. I don't want it to fly away while I'm working on it. This resistor right here just moved over on me. There we go. Okay, nice and clean. Now, where does Lewis keep his parts? Did he really only get 2 CD3215s for this job? He has no parts. I have to go get a CD3215. I will leave you with an empty chair stream. Because I stand in solidarity with Eli the computer guy. One moment, please. I am back. I have some CD3215s from my desk. Here's his empty wrapper. Okay. So this is something cool from most. If you work on any other electronics, any other computers, they have silk screens around everything telling you what chip this is, what capacitor this is, and giving you like outlines of where it should be placed and where it should go. And you always get a mark of where pin 1 is, because that's how you place things. Everything can be placed any which way. This is just a square. I could put this any way I want, but I have to line it up where pin 1 goes where pin 1 is supposed to be. So Apple, in their lovely wisdom, they don't have any silk screening on anything. They used to, long time ago, but they have not had for a very long time. So the only way you can tell how something goes is by opening up the board view software. But certain chips, it's inherent which way it goes. They can't hide it from you. So this is not, it's asymmetrical. It's not completely the same. So we can see that we have one pin missing out of the middle there. If you look on the bottom of it, there's one pin missing out of the middle of it, out of the middle section, middle corner. That indicates pin 1 on this chip. So it makes it nice and easy to place it. There's no guesswork, you don't have to look at anything, there's no orientation. If I had this board facing a different way or something on the desk, I always know where pin 1 is because of that one missing pin. Let's give it some flux underneath. Plop it down, push it down into the flux, and give it a little bit of a scratch. And you'll feel that it's floating on just the pads. And you can tell that it's kind of centered and everything. I'm going to lightly hold it down as I start to heat, because right as you start to heat is when it likes to float away on the flux you have underneath it. And once all the flux looks like it's liquidy, oh, it floated away. No, I don't know what made it die, but I had a dead CD3215 when I got it working.
The left one or the right one?
The right one.
I replaced them both at the same time. The left one has all the jumpers on it.
I was stuck at 5 volts at 100 milliamps.
No 20 volts to the
That a little. And there's one resistor that I whipped away a little bit too much stuff, so I'm going to add a little bit of solder to this one resistor over here. Ooh, that's a tough spot to get into. There you go. So now that's replaced. So now we're going to cool this off again with some rapid cooling. Rapid cooling! Not cool enough yet. Now there's a very small mesh on here, not the what I was using. What I actually use usually is beard guards, food service beard guards. I had a pack of them. That's what we use around the shop. Running low on them, might have to buy more. Okay, it's nice and cool. Now let's see what it does. Work, you fuck. Okay, 5 volts at 18 milliamps, 20 volts at 160 milliamps. 160 doesn't seem right. 190, 160, 30 milliamps. Something's not working. Okay, those 500 milliamps down to 200 milliamps. Make up your damn mind. Are you turning on or what? What are you doing? Are you doing something weird? $20 volts, 200 milliamps. $80 milliamps, 60 milliamps, 25 milliamps, 220 milliamps. It feels like the CPU is warming up. But it's turning on and off. It's pulsing under my hand. It's not staying on. Let's cool this off again and put it under thermal cam again. Maybe I'll see if I can get a display capture to work. Display capture? Display capture. Just capture the right display. Display capture, there you go. Okay. Nice and cool board. Is that lined up correctly? No, it is not. Let me get a fingerprint on here so I can align it properly. Okay. That is aligned properly. Okay. plug in. Oh no, the Thunderbolt chip. Thunderbolt chip is fried too. And we have some activity on the CPU. That doesn't look good. That's weird that this is being powered enough to get hot. That shouldn't have enough power in it to get hot. But yeah, the Thunderbolt chip is dead. Oh wait, is that from under here or is that the Thunderbolt chip? I need alcohol. Nope, that's up on the other side of the board. That's the Thunderbolt chip heating all the way through. So this might have a dead CPU or dead PCH and Thunderbolt chip. Wow, this board is toasted. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a no fix. Let's see what is this coil for exactly. Let's see that. Where is my schematic and board view? Thermal cam, get out of the way. Okay. That is which coil? That is this coil. PPV CCSASO. It's power to the CPU. So why in the world would the coil be getting hot? Because something is drawing too much power from that coil. See what the resistance is on this. I think this one, the resistance should be somewhere around 50 ohms or so. Eight ohms. Yeah, 8 ohms is not enough for this. 8 ohms is proper for the one next to it. 5 ohms for the CPU. Yeah, this one should be about 40 or maybe even 300. 7.7 ohms. Yeah, this PCH CPU is toast. And it needs a Thunderbolt chip. I don't, yeah. This thing's a no fix. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, can't win them all. Had too much damage over here, I guess. Some voltage got back to the CPU. Now let's take the heatsink off. It's always dramatic if you have a nice popped CPU. T6, no, I need T5. T8, no, I need T5. T5? T5? Anybody got T5? T5. Somebody give me a T5? T5? Oh, anybody? Found it. Never mind. Found it. Let's do this on the overhead. Overhead. Thank you, Thermal Pepe. We could have avoided all this work if we just took the heatsink off to begin with. Oh wait, never mind. Oops, I'm sorry. Couldn't see that without it. The thermal paste and everything made that look like it was a crack. Nope, no crack. Okay. CPU is still in physical okay condition. Maybe it's not actually dead. I doubt it. Because this right here should not be that low. Let's see if we got a donor board to measure off of. Ooh. See what this one is in the same spot. Oh, this one's the same. 8 ohms. Let's corroborate that with one more. If one more says that it's that, then maybe we're still okay. You can never trust the donor boards. But if at least 2 of them got your back, then I'd say it's worth going farther. Is there another one here with a CPU on it? This has a CPU. This has a CPU. Okay, we got 2 more. We got 2 more donor boards to ask. Let's ask this guy first. He still has the heatsink on. This guy says 11 ohms. It's within a tolerance. What does this guy say? This guy says 11 ohms as well. So, okay, 8 ohms should be fine on that coil. So then we have to go after our Thunderbolt chip. I don't know if we have any more of these in stock. We can't get a stencil for them. At least I think we can, maybe. We haven't yet. It's a weird ball pattern on this chip, so it's hard to use a donor. You have to get them new. I don't know which one this has. There's 2 different chips that go under here. I'll have to see when I get it off, when I get the shield off. So first, some gravity on there. I have the NVIDIA mug on top of this thing. I'll add a little bit of flux in some corners here. Doesn't really help with this that much. Okay, realize you can't really see anything because this shield is too big. But I'm going to put my tweezers under the corner here. I can get that on screen. Put my tweezers in the corner here and just start heating the shield around. And get it to pop off. Come on. You can do it. And there we go. Still got one corner attached. Gotta be careful when the shield just comes up, because if you slide over, you wind up knocking off all this stuff in the corner. Real pain in the ass to put all back. So let's cool this down again. Let's check this with the thermal cam one more time. Now that we got the heatsink off and we got the shield off, now we get a good clear view of what is getting hot. We use a lot of thermal cam here. It's a really good diagnostic tool. It's just people want way too much money for them. I like this one. It's the software that's ridiculous. It's a component with a huge crater in it in the lower left corner. Lower left corner, let's see that. Left corner. Lower left corner. Oh, look at that. There is a blown diode. That's an input protection diode that all of the inputs go through, or are tied to ground to, so that if there's a spike on one of the inputs, it'll take the hit. So yeah, for now, they aren't needed to operate. They're just a protection device. You always should put them back and everything, but for testing right now, we could just break this in half and get it off of here. Okay, yeah, that's not going to break in half easily. Let me heat that off the board then. Oh man, I can't see which one it is. Outside of the microscope, you can't see which one has the hole. 1, 2, third one up. One, two, third one up. Okay. Okay, that's clean. Somebody said something on the other side? Give it once over from underneath the shield. Everything else looks good under the shield. Let's cool this off. Put it in the thermal cam. While I'm waiting, I'm going to align the thermal cam. Since I unplugged it, plugged it back in, it's now not aligned again. Okay, that looks good. Board cold. Board is cold. Okay. Put it back under the thermal cam. Display capture. Now what I think it's the Thunderbolt chip here and something going on in the CPU which might be just normal. Let's see. 5 volts. 20 volts. Yeah, that Thunderbolt chip is done. And that looks like a normal PCH turning on, but it turned off. Now we have 20 volt 0 now. Unplug, plug back in. 20 volts 200. Yeah, that looks like a normal PCH turning on. It's not one sharp point in the corner of it or something like that. That just looks like the PCH turning on. Down to 18 milliamps, now 200 milliamps. Yeah, and this chip's got to go. Okay, let's see what chip this is. This is the JHL 6540. Let me go see if I have any of them. The 6540. One moment, please. I'm back. Okay, so I got a new chip here. And if we look at the bottom, see this weird ball pattern where some are close, some are far, and then the tight group ones don't match up with the far at all. So it's not like you could just use one universal stencil and just, you know, cover it over with glass after you paste it, and because it's all different dot pitches. The external is a completely different dot pitch from the internal ones. So we need to find the actual stencil for these so we can reball them off of donor boards, or just keep buying them. We buy them brand new. So this one requires, I should have brought them. This one requires a wider set of tweezers. So this already is a pretty wide set of tweezers. Does Lewis have a wide tweezers here? Oh my god, what the hell happened? Oh god. Oh, that hurts. Oh, poor thing. Poor thing. I'm gonna go grab my wide tweezers to get this thing off. Hello. So I have 4 different size of tweezers. So I take the regular tweezers and I bend them open so that I have really wide ones. This is the widest ones for chips like this. And then I have ones that were untouched from the bag that they came in. And they're for small stuff. I'll flux this a little bit. Get this chip off the board. This one doesn't have a cutout to let you know where pin 1 is, so we need to remember that pin 1 is down here by these 2 caps. Hey, how'd I hit that one cap over there? You can't see it, it's off screen. Somehow, that one cap moved. I guess my tweezer was there, that's probably where I was holding the chip. Now we take some fresh solder. The lead-free solder's hard to wick, so we take some fresh solder. Let me get the fume extractor closer. I got fumes coming up into my face. So we take some leaded solder, rub some leaded solder over the whole thing, and this will come up nice and easy with the wick. Lead-free just doesn't flow as well onto the wick. So this one little step just makes it a little bit easier. Clean up all those pads. Make sure there's no solder balls left. Very light. You don't want to scrub around on this too much. You don't want a lot of pressure on this. You'll rip the pads right out of the board, even the ones that are connected. This is, the ball size on this is practically micro BGA. It's something, it's got to be 0.2 or 0.25, which is really small. Kind of difficult getting up against the row of resistors. I don't want to suck all the solder off the resistors. There, just the one corner is left. There, nice and flat. Everything, one over here. Good. That looks good. Hi. Hi. Give it a Q-tip. I wonder if I got a pen laying around here. Somebody once asked, can we show the size relationship that we're talking about here? Because we're talking about these solder balls here. And the pads on the chip and everything, you don't get a good feel of what size this is until you see it against something that you can hold in your hand and maybe compare it to. So this is the ball of a ballpoint pen. That's how much smaller these balls are that we're working with here. So the ball of a ballpoint pen is 5 times, 10 times the size of what these pads are. If you look at the new chip, it actually has the balls on it. And it's a ballpoint pen up against the new chip, new ball. So that's how small we're working with here. So let me make sure again what chip we have, that I got the right one. 6540, JHL6540. JHL6540. We have the right chip. Give it a little bit of flux. Plop. This is kind of difficult to feel. There's a lot of visual in this chip too, because I could see that I'm a little high. I gotta come down some. That feels right. Might move a little left as it gets heated in. That's what I'm expecting to see. As it gets heated in, it should move a little tiny bit left. So as I'm heating this, I'm looking at one corner, and yep, it just popped left. The bottom of it popped left. And then I'm seeing everything around it is getting melted, so then I could be sure that the whole chip is melted. And I see I whipped some of the solder off of this one resistor, so I'm going to add some more solder to that one resistor. That's tight. think I need flux. No, I don't. Yep, that went good. How can you not, like, shoot all the resistors away with the hot air? Surface tension. The surface tension of the solder is, it's lead, or lead substitute. It's a metal, so it takes a lot to, even when this is melted, it takes a lot to just push it off of its pads. The weight of the solder and its surface tension holding on to everything keeps everything from flying away. You can blow things away, but it's difficult, and only certain things blow away. Like these little diodes, these like to blow away. That's one of the easiest things that you could blow away off of these boards. Okay, let's cool it down. Have some rapid cooling. How are you so delicate with such a large tip? You mean the soldering iron with the wick and all that? Yeah, it's just feel for it. If you rewind back, you'll see how I bent the wick up. So the wick was flat. The wick was flat. I stuck the soldering iron on it. I pulled it up, and then it was bent up like this. So now I have a nice sharp edge to put into the thing and get my solder iron in there and pull it all out. But yeah, this tip is awfully big for working on the little stuff. And then this tip is getting big for some of the newer MacBook stuff. This one's even getting a little big. They're smaller tips, but these boards, they wick away heat so well that you need a larger tip all the time. How'd our rapid cooling work? Rapid cooling! Okay, that's good. Okay, now let's see what it does. I gotta remember I don't have a heatsink on this, so I can't leave it powered for long if it turns on or anything. So what do we got? 5 volts, 19 milliamps. 20 volts, 100 milliamps, 214 milliamps, 218 milliamps. This thing better not be getting hot again. That is not getting hot at all. So now we should be CPU starting. 200 milliamps. CPU is not turning on. CPU is trying to turn on. I can feel it under this finger. 200 milliamps, 20 volts. Okay, back to thermal cam. Oh, please, bro, show us the way. I feed thee thine power. I feed thee thine internet. Give me the answer. Display capture. That's a little bit warmer than it was. Let me align, and then I'll cool a little bit more. Okay, aligned. I'll rapid cool this a little bit more. Oh, thine thermal Pepe, thine diagnosticer of diagnosticators. Show me what is wrong. Oh, it wasn't the it wasn't the chip. Something else is going on that's making that chip get hot. Suck. What do we got going on? What about over here? Everything looks normal there. That does not look normal there, but that's a brand new chip. That looks normal there. There must be something over here that's affecting the chip badly. Something must be shorted. It wasn't the chip all along. Thank you, Thermal Pepe. Okay, let's see what we got under here. One of these capacitors look bad. Nothing here looks very bad. Let me ultrasonic this. I want to get some of the flux off of here so I could see everything clearly. Oh, shit. I just caught the microphone cable on the chair. One moment, please. Okay, let's dry this off. Lewis was just telling me how he put 40 minutes into this thing, and now I put 40 minutes into this thing, and I am ready to throw it across the room. Okay, oops. So some more liquid under here. That is flux. I didn't see it long enough. Flux is still there. Okay, let's take a good look at all this stuff. Everything looks fine. Capacitors like to crack on the sides, on the bottom a lot of times, so looking at it at an angle sometimes helps. Works wonders on backlight caps. Backlight caps break all the time, and you can see it'll be right in the joint by the board is where it cracks. Sometimes only on one side too. You gotta look on both sides like that. Kind of difficult with this microscope setup though. Everything looks fine here. Doesn't look like liquid hit up over here. The liquid stayed around down here. God, this stuff looks like ass over here. Cool it off. Let's do some probing. I want to see if anything is shorted here. Where's my beeper? How do I change to beep? Range, no. Hold, no. Min-max, no. Shift. Is it shift? Shift. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Anything short of here? Got the beeper on. Not short it, not short it, not short it, not short it, not short it. Not short it, not short it. This should be good. The big ones are all I'm really concerned about. That's the only thing that's power handling. None of these little guys should be able to do anything. My go home alarm is going off.
Oh, it's time to get out of here. Ripboard.
I don't know. Let's try one more time, plug it in. Let's see what happens. One more time. One more time. Plug it in. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? You can't see that. What if I lower this? You still can't see that. Oh well. 220 milliamps, 20 volts.
My jumper's under the left seat, 32.
The CPU, the PCH is trying to turn on, but that's all it does. So I'm going to hand this over to Lewis and see if he can come up with anything. Because it's time to go. Lewis roped me into this. Hi, I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me. You roped me into this. No, you roped me into this. What? The old guy over there roped me into this. I'm going to go rope Lewis back into this. Have a good night.